All right, all right, all right. Hello, you guys, and welcome back to another show. We are glad to be back. And guess who's back with us? Who's not broken and sprained and hurting and everything else? Welcome back, Jeff. We missed you, but I'm glad that you're back and healthy and strong and not beat up because, he was a little too lit, party a little too hard for a while.
In Troy City.
He was just broke. I mean, just showing himself out down in the ATL and everything else. I was like, well, all right now.
Got to. It's life to live. We got to live it.
So, you guys, we had a great show, great return show a couple weeks ago. I didn't know how that was going to work out. And here he is, Mr. D. Horace Towns. Y'all know his schedule.
Lord.
Crazy. I don't pay no attention to my green screen. I got all kinds of life stuff going on. I just can't try to figure this out at all. Not today. like not today. This has been one of those days where I've been in meetings on top of meetings on top of meetings. So this has been my life. So we just got to deal with this. But welcome D. Horace Towns, Trey Amazing, and Jayla Dre. Y'all, we are the BAC family crew, and here is Piff joining us, and we got a juicy topic tonight. I'm pretty excited about this. I got this topic actually listening to the Strawberry Letter.
Lord.
Yeah, this was a Strawberry Letter a while back, and I was just like, this is a hot mess. So I thought it would be great. I was just like, I want to know what the fellas think about this because this don't make any sense. So that's why we got this topic tonight on He Doesn't Know His Place. And so it's basically about women who are overly controlling. They feel like because, they make more money, they do this, they do that for their man, that they get to control everything that man does, says, whatever the case may be, because they are carrying him. Or whatever the case may be. And I don't care if that man makes more money than you or you make more money than that man. I think that at the end of the day, you need to just respect that everybody's a human being. That man is not a dog, a pet, or anything else, but vice versa. That woman is not your slave and that man is not your slave. So I don't get it, but I understand that this is real. People do have control issues. And so this is going to be an interesting conversation. And I want to hear what Horace got to say, because I know Jeff got a lot to say about it. But Horace, your face told me that.
First of all, I knew the show would be interesting, right? And then when we went back and read again the title, I said, man, this is really something, I did think you were very doing light when you gave to open the conversation, because you easily could have said women who are habitually single, and because that's a way to describe that group of people. Second, I don't know if alpha females is a real thing. Because in most cases, alpha females are typically women that are hurt or been forced to feel a so-called dominant role for a period of time, and they refuse to go back into what would be considered a feminine space. So alpha females, I think, is something that's been trending for a while. A lot of movies got people saying they're alpha females, and then when you get to know them, they ain't really alpha females. They're just stubborn ass women. I said what I said.
I'm not mad at it. I'm honestly not mad at it. I really wanted to hear how you all, particularly the men, like how y'all felt about it, because I listen, I understand that there are alpha females. I get it. And I think that there's somebody for everybody. But I like we kind of know the men on this show. But I do think that there's somebody for everybody. Yeah. But I do think that regardless, there is a line that you draw, you know what I'm saying? And so trying to figure out where that line gets drawn, because that's wild. So that's wild. So Jeff, we ain't seen you in a while, dude.
I know. I'm back. Been a lot going on, traveling and stuff, and just regrouping with some personal things, but I'm back. We're good. And this topic is an excellent thing to come in on. And you know, as someone who's been, everyone knows I prefer a submissive significant other. So when I see the word, I was reading the comments. If I see the word alpha with female after it, that triggers. It's not even trigger. It's laughable to me. I'm not saying that women cannot be leaders. Let me be clear, because I already know I get a lot of hate mail for everything I say anyway. But I say that to say, in any relationship with me, that's an absolute no. You make more than me. No, even if you're in a profession, this is one that people don't think about. Even if you're in a profession like law enforcement or you're a lawyer or something, that's even too much for me.
Right.
So, and that's just my opening statement. I want to hear what everyone else says first, and I can go more in detail. So,
I want to hear Trey, because you never know where he's coming from.
Yeah, because I know you're Mr. Oh, it doesn't matter.
No, he's in a relationship now, so we don't know if we're gonna get Trey, or Trey that I gotta watch over my shoulder because I want to say some shit later type.
Oh,
so I always look for Trey comments. Sorry, Trey.
Yo, how can I come in off that? Well, first and foremost, I have a few thoughts. Many people don't realize my girlfriend is a lawyer. Definitely very proud of her and all of her achievements, and I've always been proud to say that she's a lawyer. She's definitely somebody that I admire, and in that regard, even if you've been paying attention to ringside, there's been a handful of arguments been shared. There was something that was shared last month about there's no such thing as an alpha man or a beta man. There have been articles that talked about alpha women. It's all subjective, because the fact of the matter is I've worked for alpha women. I think alpha is just, another way of saying leader. And you find leadership in both men and women. The area where Jeff and I always habitually disagree, I have no issues being with a woman who makes more than me. In my previous marriage, the majority of the time, my wife made more than me, but she was definitely not controlling, because that's not her that was never her personality. Regardless, if you knew her, there was nothing controlling about her. She was very soft-spoken, very timid, but majority of the time we were together, she made more than me. But it was never anything she used to leverage. So as far as if someone is controlling, I've certainly seen this in, the different genders. If someone's controlling, I think that's just their personality. I don't think it's always indicative of their salary or whatever, because you have controlling men, controlling women, controlling, a combination of the two. So me personally, and again, just like I've said several times in ringside, in terms of submissive, I just expect my dog to be submissive to me. That's the only thing I demand submission from. I don't demand submission from another human being, because a human being is autonomous and, free will. So I'm not looking to, again, I always use, whenever that subject comes up at ringside, I always have to put that meme of Zod from Superman 2, because I'm like, okay, that just sounds like someone who just needs to be placed on a higher, pedestal, or just needs to be praised. And they're just a human being, just like that woman. Right. But that's just me. Like I said, I've seen that controlling personality in people who make minimum wage. Well,
that's insecurity.
I agree. I think the whole source of it is insecurity, and I think that I want to get to Keith's question, because it's a valid point. If there's no such thing as an alpha female, does that mean there's no such thing as a submissive man?
Oh.
Go ahead, Horace.
We didn't hear from Piff. She didn't do her opening.
Oh, don't worry. She got lots to say.
And then before you say something, Horace, Troy, thank you for saying it, because when I've been called that horrible C word, which I think is a gaslighting term for people who just don't know what they're supposed to do. If you don't text me back enough, or you're not texting back fast enough, or you're not doing what you're supposed to. Sorry, we're grilling. And it's raining outside, so we had to bring everything inside because the food got wet. So sorry for people walking around.
What's
it's controlling.
Yeah, I figured it out.
controlling. If I tell you, if you're not responding fast enough, or you haven't texted me in a day, and I tell you, look, you need to do better. Oh, you're controlling. No, if you are focused or invested in us, you need to text faster. Stuff like that. I think that certain terms are gaslighting. And I just can't stand when people demonize words like alpha or submissive, because there's nothing wrong with the word submissive. In fact, people who are submissive actually are stronger because they're giving their trust and depending on somebody, not depending financially, but they're trusting them to lead them. I don't think that's wrong. If you work for someone, you are submissive to them. And
well, I mean, just to piggyback off what you're saying, I definitely know there are people who are submissive to their spouse, Neville. I acknowledge the presence of people who are submissive. It's just not, I think what I've always stated was, I've always asserted that I don't look for it, or I don't say, you know, you have to be submissive to me. But definitely from the comments that have been in the group from, you know, multiple women, some women really do look forward to being submissive. There have been women who are outspoken, like when they get married, they plan on being submissive to their husband. They're okay with it being one-sided, like he doesn't have to be submissive to me, I have to be submissive to him. I'm like, I think that's groovy. You're just gonna have to find the man who's looking for that. I'm not looking for that, but you know, as far as that's what you want, I say mazel tov.
Let me ask you this. Do you think it affects
it's
your
important though
masculinity?
yeah, but we need to talk about, I think it goes back to what we said in previous seasons about the word submissive. It's not a cuss word, and it doesn't mean that you are less than the other person. And submissive is not necessarily meaning docile. I think that people's perception of what it is to be submissive is completely different, and it's subjective, because Trey has made some great points in the past about submission of what it looks like. It's not this, you know, dominant versus non-dominant thing. It's a mutual respect, and when you have a mutual respect for your relationship, you don't mind letting somebody lead in one area that you're not strong in. That's how you make sure you got a strong, balanced relationship. You know what I mean? It's respecting each other's perspective about different things. And it's okay that, you know, it's great that you got women out here who just, you know, whatever the man says goes. Okay, God bless you. Okay, no problem. God bless you. Walk in that. Let that be your truth. Don't go talking later on when you disagree with a whole bunch of nonsense. Anybody got time for that later on? But I think that you got to start. I think that Jeff's point is, it's not controlling when you are expressing what you expect in a relationship. Find your match. Again, date at your level. If you understand that this person wants you to respond in a certain way, or they want, you know, a certain thing from you, you figure out whether or not you can rock with that. Either you can rock with it or you can't, or you won't. It just depends on how you feel about it. But I want to get Piff in here and get her perspective on the conversation about, you know, what it is to be, and, you know, I don't know if you want to call it an alpha female, or, you know, a controlling woman who, you know, you make more than your man and you support him, you don't put him through this, that, the third, or whatever, and now you feel like you have the right or the authority to dictate, you know, this man's coming and going, so on and so forth. To me, again, I don't see that anybody is anybody's pet. That, to me, that's how you treat a pet, not a person. But there are women who feel like, I wear the pants because I pay the bills, and you do what I say. If I say you can't go out with the fellas, you can't go out with the fellas. And I just think that that's just too much. But
sometimes for some women, that's financial security too.
True.
I mean, look at, and then I know Piff needs to speak, but like, look at back in the 50s and before that. I know y'all like to say it's not like that no more, but go in the South, especially in Texas. A lot of times it was, you're fine. A lot of times it was financial security or status or guarantee of livelihood security for your children. So sometimes we have to look at the long-term factors, but I apologize. I just wanted to say that while I was thinking about it. Good.
All right, Piff, because I have a follow-up after Piff.
You can go right now, Horace.
No, Piff, we haven't heard from you.
No.
All right,
estrogen lace debate.
Well, hello, everyone. Well, I'm gonna say I use a certain term for women like this, and it's not appropriate. But and I'm not gonna say it, but I will say I think you're gonna allow certain things to happen. So if you're okay with being treated a certain way, you're gonna allow it. And you have the right to set the tone in your relationship, whether you consider yourself submissive or not submissive or whatever. Certain things are agreed upon, or the tone is set as soon as you meet each other. There's certain things, the layering of what you're willing to accept starts as soon as you meet. And so I'm going to say, if you have an issue with somebody who is controlling, whether it don't matter if it's a man or a woman to me, but if you have an issue with somebody who's controlling, then they tell you right away that they're controlling. They do. They tell on themselves. Controlling people don't hide it. They tell you when to walk, when to speak, when to eat, when to sleep, all of that. So if you don't want to be controlled, then you need to move on right away. I mean, that's just kind of how I think. I know several women who are like this, and they're not the breadwinner. How about that?
Wow.
How about they're not the breadwinner?
What do you mean? You said the women. You said women.
Ooh, let's get into that. Let's get into that.
Listen to what I just said.
Okay, go ahead.
I know several women who are controlling, who are not the breadwinner.
Know why?
Let me tell you this: who make no money, who bring basic at home.
Because they're usually with a man who probably couldn't do no better.
No, that's not true.
I hate to say it.
I'm going to tell you that for the people that I'm thinking of, that's not the truth. I think the thing is that, again, you have to go back to the person, the psyche, all of that. If you are going to allow, and it really does break it down. If you're going to allow it, you're going to allow it. There's certain things that people have on their list, and everyone's list is different. Everyone's list of priorities is different. So if your certain needs are getting met, you're going to deal with this because it's, I could deal with being told what to do. That doesn't bother me. Whereas you as a person on the outside has a big issue with it. Man, why you let her talk to you like that? Why you let her tell you can't be home after 12:59? Why you only get $3.22 for lunch?
What the fuck?
Listen, Piff laid that out.
I mean, I know. Listen, I've seen it all in my lifetime. You would never think, but I've seen a little bit of everything, and I will say, you're gonna allow certain things, and you can't be. My thing is, we can sit here, we can say, okay, yeah, they're just so wrong, but realistically, it is up to the person in the relationship to say, this is not okay for me. I do not like it. And I want a change, or else I'm out the door, deuces. They're not going to say that because their needs are getting met, whatever they are.
Look at Piff. Oh, Piff. Dr. Hughes, I just want to highlight that we're using different terms tonight. So, first of all, house husbands, that's a foreign concept, but you do have what we call house husbands where living in those kind of conditions, hey, they don't have a problem with it. You know what I mean? I got a high earning wife. I got somebody I don't care. I got shelter and I get enough.
I've only met 2 house husbands my whole life, and they were, there are a lot of house husbands. There are a lot of women at the CDC who are high earning, 6-figure directors, and some of them will tell you their husbands stay at home. Some of those women are white. It's not always black or whatever. You do have a lot of, like I said, I don't believe in a standard marital template. I feel like you and whomever you decide to date, marry, y'all figure out, y'all customize what works for you. If it's conventional, great. If it's unconventional, cool. Nobody is in a position to come knock on your door and tell you your marital paradigm is wrong. They don't take mail home. They don't receive mail. So what you and your spouse decide is best for you, your children, whatever, that's what you should rock with. If it means a woman goes and earns the money and the man stays home and, irons and makes pancakes, so be it. If it works, it works. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody except the people.
Well, I agree with that. This is my second part of that. Well, everybody 10 is different. how we get to 10 it might be 2 + 8 for you. It might be 5 for 5 with some other couple. How to get to 10 is different, right? Now, what I had an issue with in the beginning of our show is talking about because when you say alpha, I think about this whole trendy definition that we see. You know, I'm the boss chick, but I get jaded by it because it's media induced. It's a big trend. I'm the alpha chick. Man ain't gonna tell me what to do. I make my own money. I do what I want to do. Yada yada yada. Right. I don't know if that's the same as a controlling person, because at the same time, when it comes to men in relationships, we care about peace. So at the end of the day, all we did give a damn about is peace. But those alphas that, by definition of trendy definition, I don't really ever see any of them in relationships, and I don't know if that's by design or by choice.
That's what I was going to say next.
No, I agree with you. I've not seen it myself either.
They are not. I think
that people are so into what they see on social media, this hype of social media of what they think a relationship is, and that this house husband over here, and you have this whole move of city boys, like the city girls, where their whole goal is to look for somebody to take care of them. Just like there are women who look for sugar daddies, there are men that look for sugar mamas. They're looking for somebody to take care of them. They're looking for someone to do these things for them. But to Piff's point, there are women who are controlling, and they're not making all that kind of money. They're not leading. They're not, they're still behind the curve. It's just, I think that it boils down to what you said, Jeff. It's an insecurity thing. Trey's trying to connect again, y'all. So soon as he gets connected back again, we'll add him. But I think that I think a lot of it, to be honest, to me, it seems like it's an insecurity issue, and it's a way to compensate for something else going on. And it gives them some type of, it gives them some type of peace or purpose or something that they need to, or some type of validation that I got it, that I'm got it going on, that I'm this, that, and it's just, I don't know. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I have one thing before I do that, Jeff. Miss Lisa said, the question about, do you think white women are more submissive than black women?
I was hoping y'all would forget that.
And
no, I haven't got it.
It's the approach, it's the family approach and dynamic, because most Caucasian families are more intact, right? Mm-hmm. But because those women are taught a structure of depending on the man, he's the head, whereas our homes have been just obliterated. You know what I mean? So you might not get that type of ideology saying depend on your guy, or depend. Plus, I have enough cousins that their mom was like, don't depend on no man or worry about no man, yada yada.
Are they single? Right.
Yeah, of course. But
wait a minute. But the thing is, but here's the thing with that. I'm gonna just break that down for you, because you know what? I'm sorry. Our homes have been torn apart since slavery. So if you really want to break down and you want to attack black women, that's fine. But realistically, black women have had to take care of everything, because when you force, like, this is actually a new study that has come out, when you have these mating parties during slavery time and you force the black women to have all these children, you're forcing them to rear all these children, and then you sell their mate away or whatever. That man didn't even want them, but yet she was forced to have a child by somebody she didn't necessarily want to have a child by. Then it creates a dynamic that goes down through generation and generation. So this is something that has been created within our community, not something that we wanted to have in our community.
It's taught. It's learned behavior.
It is a learned behavior.
And I'm going somewhere with that, Epiphany, but thank you for completing that.
Listen, I'm sorry. I had to interject, because we're not going to sit here and act like
alpha pills.
Yeah.
You know what, Dr. Hughes?
Wait, what happened? So no, thank you for the history lesson. That was amazing. That is true. That a lot of times, to keep after this slave trade was banned in 1818, they started what the master did to preserve his stock was they made them breed, and sometimes they would promise women, say if they could bear.
It was before
kids.
that, Jeff.
Well, I know that. I'm just saying it was more prevalent after that. They even would tell them if they could bear 20 kids, they would give them freedom.
Right.
They were in Georgia, Texas, and Oklahoma. They actually not Oklahoma, Kansas. They told that was the law.
Yeah. But I think that part of that too, I think part of this, what Lisa is saying though, I think a part of this learned behavior is that white women being more submissive than black women, in that they were also taught to be that way. And if we go back to slavery times, you could see also that they were domesticated and their sole function to be taught how to
and guess what the black
and your role is this house.
But
and it's not just here in the US, but it was European. It was a European thing too, because in Europe and in London, UK, that was your function as a woman, like you the house, and your that's your whole thing, is to submit to whatever the man says. But fast forward, I think that we've over the years tried to blend too many different things without understanding the historical context of why people are the way they are. We it's not so black and white, and I mean that in every context of the way. It's not so black and white. It's not that easy. And so I may, to Lisa's point here, I may start off being submissive, but once I come into the identity of who I am as a human being, because some people treat other people submissively like dogs, like they don't matter. They overlook them and they mistreat them. Once I come into the revelation that I'm a person and I'm deserving of respect, and you don't honor what I'm saying as far as who I am as a person, and you don't change the behavior, now we've got a different dynamic. And so do you change to be more aggressive, or do you leave? I don't know if it's about being more aggressive so much as it's two people need to come together and have a grown conversation like adults, adult to adult, and decide, is this going to work? Just because you got a revelation of who you are as a person and you want more and better for yourself, you got two options: stay and be miserable, or leave and live your best life.
Dr. H,
go ahead, Troy.
Go ahead and drop that mic. Drop that mic. You leaving that shit smoking.
But to me, I think it's just that simple. It really is just that simple. I think part of the issue is we have people who don't want to have grown conversations.
Well, no, I agree with you, because again, no matter what setting you have these quote unquote battle of the sexes debates and, back and forth, whatever, you're always going to have people that are going to say, this is a man's role, this is a woman's role, and you'll never get 100% agreement across the board. You never will. You're always going to, even for the people who say they're traditional, they're old fashioned, you can line up 10 different people who say they're traditional, old fashioned. They're not going to agree 100% of the time. They're going to have their own opinions, their own thoughts, and whatever the case. But I've always stated that no matter how you feel about what a man should do, what a woman should do, I'm going to approach my woman always as she's a human being like me. She's an adult like me. So that's an additional layer of understanding context that we need to communicate from.
I have a question for you, Troy. So say you're with a woman or your girlfriend. I'm sorry if she's watching. This is not at you directly, ma'am. And say one day you don't like something she's doing and she gives you I make all this money and I don't have to listen to you, so I'm not going to do all that. So you kiss my ass or leave. How do you respond to that behavior?
Well, number one, that's going to require an additional communication, one that's going to require a sit down and because I do agree, you teach people how to treat you, and I wouldn't tolerate that from anybody. I wouldn't tolerate that from a wife, girlfriend, associate,
But the bigger picture is she's throwing her money in your face, that she doesn't need you and she does better than you. That's just, she's emasculating you. I guess that's what I was trying to go with, not just the way she's speaking to you.
I wouldn't, something like that, I wouldn't allow to emasculate me, because you can make more money. Someone who makes $200,000 a year makes more money than someone who earns $160,000. But the $160,000 person is not going to be broke. So you can tell me you make more money than me, but it doesn't automatically mean I'm broke. Doesn't mean I'm financially dependent on you. Doesn't mean that I have to stay with you or your bad behavior to enjoy a comfortable lifestyle. So in that regard, in the scenario you just talked about, I would check that immediately and let her know whatever she lost her mind, she needs to go and find it.
Right.
So
I love that. I love that, but I want to add something to this, because to Troy's point, what you're basically saying is you define what emasculates you, because money is not necessarily emasculating. It's the behavior that people have. And as a person, what do you allow to emasculate you versus, it's not necessarily that they make more money. It's the attitude, it's the behavior. But do you allow that to take you personally versus, okay, that's your issue. Like Troy said, you need to go find your mind, because you don't obviously lost it somewhere. Go find it, pick it back up, and put it in your head again, so we can have a grown conversation. Because to me, that's behavior that needs to get checked, because if you don't check it immediately, it's going to continue, and you'll be in this spiral where you feel like, now I don't have a voice. They don't respect me, because that's what it is. Okay, where did the respect get dropped along the way? And where do we get this back? And if we can't get this back, we need to go on and separate, period, point blank, because ain't nobody got time for this.
There was a question that said something about what if they change or something. I think Lisa asked that too. I didn't see it.
Yeah, she said, if you are with someone and they started submissive, then change to being more aggressive, do you leave them?
So that has happened. A lot of times when women do that, it's called gold diggers. Trust me, I know. I'm just going to throw it out there. Anyone who knows my personal situation understands that. And in the state of Texas, no matter if it was your fault or not, when things happen, they get half of what you have.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, they do.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. Unless you want to be
they automatically get half. It's just automatic. They get half.
Especially if the woman made significantly less than you. Yes, you have to. The law.
It's your responsibility to take care of them.
You have to keep them as close as to whatever was comfortable with them, especially if children or two. So what happens is, in that case, to answer that question, those are called gold diggers. What happens is, that's why I believe in prenups. I am very 100% behind them, because folks will, once they get that ring on their finger, that house, that car, and you give them a child, they completely change, because at that point the checklist is done. They are everything they want from you. So there are
I do agree.
There are downfalls.
I believe in prenups.
Right. There are downfalls to having that submissive person, because they could just be doing whatever you want to get what they want.
Oh, absolutely.
I agree with you, Jeff.
It can be a bait and switch. Fact of the matter is, people can only hold their breath for so long. And I've stated this several times. It doesn't matter if it's a job, it doesn't matter if it's pussy, it doesn't matter if it's an engagement ring. People act a certain way until they get what they want.
Listen,
I think we've all had that coworker when they first started, that first 90 days probation, they're the perfect worker. After the 90 days probation, that's when they start taking 2-hour breaks. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it doesn't matter whatever you're looking for.
Though, you still gonna go.
Well, but if you have a certain goal in mind, you're going to act a certain way that's pleasing to the person that's has the power to give it or take it away. Now, once you get it, regardless if you finally got pussy for the first time from that person, or you got that job, or you got the engagement ring, then you see the real side of that person once they got what they wanted. They got what they wanted. I agree
with you. I want to get Horace in here, because I think that his face has been saying a lot to me. But to just point about prenups and Trey, I think that when it comes to a person saying he doesn't know his place, I think a prenup is important, because it don't matter if you got a lot or not, because you don't know down the road how this thing might switch up and change. You might be supporting now, but they might down the road switch up and make 3, 4, 5 times you, because things change, life change, situations change. So that's a protective nature for you. But also this whole situation of somebody knowing their place, that whole, like you said, bait and switch thing is real. It happens. And so there are layers to why you have protection for you, and people don't think about it, but when you don't have anything, you don't need anything, but is that your mindset forever? So I think that, when it comes to the point of he don't know his place or she don't know his place, having those layers in place, it's important, I think. And we don't understand the context sometimes around prenups. People feel like you get a prenup and that's because you don't believe that the relationship is going to last long. So why get married? No, that ain't the mindset. Like it's very different, and you just got to evolve into it. But Horace, go ahead and get in here, and we're going to go to Tiff.
Well, I had a joke for that, but I'm going to do right tonight. First off, one of the best parts of this show is every episode I get a chance to raise Piff's blood pressure, and I never know where Trey is coming from, but I always look forward to his comments. I think when we go back to the overall gist of the conversation, he said something from the beginning about, you handle how people treat you. Mm-hmm. And so even back to the alpha female thing, you're only allowed to get away with certain things where it's tolerated. And if it gets to a point where it gets out of hand, that's when you simply dip. I think a lot of people, sometimes you want something and you're trying to maneuver to try to make it work, even whether it's at work or in a relationship. Dealing with those type of people, alpha females, alpha males, I think you're the denominator in that situation, where just removing yourself and not entertaining or giving it any energy is a big thing, because sometimes them being who they are is going to continue with or without you, and you trying to fight or change them is only going to have you frustrated. So, the whole alpha female thing, I go back to the trend. I see people use it. I've seen debates. I think we even had a show on it at one time. And then I had to look at it. It's like, is that a real thing? Some people feel it is. Some people isn't. I just know that it doesn't work for me. I could give a damn how much my old lady make, because I'm still going to be a man. She's still going to be a woman. And as long as I got peace, we can have some prosperity. And that's the recipe I'm looking for in my relationships.
I agree. To me, peace should be the principal thing, period, point blank. So, Trey, go ahead before I go to Piff.
Oh, no, I was just congratulating Horace. That was a great point. I agree. In terms of alpha, some of the people that I've known for 30 plus years that I would perceive as alpha females, alpha men, I would say, I do think alpha can be a real thing, because there have been people who are like that since they were in kindergarten. There's just some people who they were bossy when they were 5 years old, and they're now bossy at 45.
Right.
I'm not giving a negative connotation to alpha, but just saying there are some people who just natural born leaders. There are people who other people just naturally gravitate towards, who, when they walk in a room, all eyes are on them. They command a certain level of respect. And you have men and women who fall into that category. And for some people, it can be an act. But I think for the most part, there are people that's just their natural character. There's just some people who are just naturally, they're just natural born leaders. They don't have to try. They don't have to flex. That's just their character. And of course, when we compare it to beta, particularly in relationship groups, we attribute all the positive and superior characteristics with alpha and all the negative with beta, because in a relationship context, a lot of people, when they start referring to men as beta, that's more derogatory. That's more of a, trying to invalidate his manhood when you refer to, like we talked about, instead of, if you want to insult a man, you don't call him a man, you call him a male. You call him a beta male. Even though there's nothing wrong with beta, oftentimes it has a negative connotation, which it shouldn't. But
Piff, do you consider yourself an alpha female? We got this question.
Can you put it on the screen, because I don't see that?
Yeah, Lisa put it up. It was a while ago. We got a lot of other comments. So, by the way, Lisa, thank you about the compliment. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Oh, I didn't even see the question.
Yeah, so we got so much. The comments are rolling. So
let's go through some of the comments
for sure. But thank you, Lisa. We do look fabulous, and we do our best to try. So we thank you.
Horace, you can answer this, and I'm gonna answer. Am I alpha female?
Do you consider Piff to be an alpha female? I don't know if we are. You muted.
Your mute is on, bro.
Not by today's definition. Is she a pain in the ass? Yes. Is she someone who lets you know what she wants, how she wants it, when she wants it? Yeah, but that's just a person who's very detailed in their communication. And if a man enjoys Piff, he's gonna take all her shit.
I can't stand you. I can't stand you. I can't understand you.
Jeff knows me pretty good. Jeff, am I alpha female?
Let it rip, Jeff.
Here's the thing. This is why questions like that are important.
No,
because
I'm serious.
you got
Like,
different perspectives. Because
No,
again,
I need a different perspective.
No,
yeah.
I do not. My definition of alpha female, under what I think one is, I think I wouldn't say so much alpha female. I've never dated Pip, so I can't say that. But as far as her being independent on her own, which is something I do respect, I would call her an alpha female. But from what it sounds like, from what you've been put up with dudes, you don't have tolerance for that crap. But it seems like you will go out your way to do anything for them as long as they're doing what they're supposed to, and to make sure you're happy. I don't consider that being alpha female. I consider that being a dedicated female. You don't go out your way to make them feel emasculated or try to throw your standards in his face. So no, I don't think you're one.
Yeah, I don't think Piff is an alpha female. I think that she has standards, and I think that the fact that she has certain standards is such. In this time of social media and what we see, again, going to what Horace likes to say all the time, the city girls mindset, it makes women like her appear to be alpha, when it's just having basic standards for yourself of what you're going to accept and what you're not going to accept. Because you come over here with that, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna bless you, and Jesus ain't gonna be glorified. I love the Lord, but try him, try somebody else. Don't try me, because I'm not doing what some of these people doing. I got standards just like Piff got standards. That doesn't mean that I'm gonna be controlling or demean somebody, but
well, if a man is not doing his basic duties as a man, like if he's not, I don't want to say providing, but if he's not respecting her, if he's not making her feel safe, secure, by all means, she does not have to sit there and put up his crap. Let me be clear to that, Keith Calloway. I'm not going to sit here and make it sound like people could just say and do whatever they want and not be held accountable.
Right. No, it's for a woman. If you create safety for that woman, just like men want peace for a woman, if you create that sanctuary where she feels safe with you in any context, you can get it.
But
and that's real talk. And there was a video in Ringside this week where a woman said just that about creating that safe space for women to feel safe. If you create that space as a man where a woman feels totally safe with you in any context, she ain't gonna have no problem rolling with the flow with you. But if she don't feel safe, and in the moment a woman feel like she got to provide safety for herself, in her mind, what do I need you for?
So I'm gonna say this. I know that I treat all the men on the show differently. Like, I have a different relationship with Troy and a different relationship with Horace and a different relationship with Jeff. I can probably come off as an alpha female, but I think the thing with me is the more comfortable I am with you, like I'm very comfortable with saying what I need to say, and that needs to happen, or else we wouldn't really have a show, right?
Right.
There's some men I would not ever say the things that I say to Horace. I would never say to those men because I'm not comfortable saying those things. I'm very, I know I'm a very submissive woman.
Submission come? Let me ask you that. When does the submission come? Like, what makes you comfortable?
I think I'm very submissive a good portion of the time. Even when I'm like joking with Horace, it's literally a joke. Most of the time I'm not ever serious. The thing is, my jokes I say with a straight face. So and that just comes from my profession. Like, even though I find something very funny, I have to hold a straight face because this is happening, or it could be perceived as bullying or whatever. So my profession has trained me to have a certain demeanor at all times. So a lot of the time when I'm joking or whatever, I'm a very misunderstood woman. I find that I'm one of the most misunderstood women that I know, because a lot of people just either they think I'm mean, or they think I'm this, or they think I'm that. But I kind of I love being submissive. Actually, I think that it takes
pressure off. It takes a lot of pressure
off.
It
takes a lot of pressure off. And if I know that you're not going to lead and guide me to hell, then like, truth be told, like, you know, I've gone over to Jeff's house and Jeff's like, okay, Pip, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I did it, like, okay. And I sat down, whatever, you're going to sit here. Jeff, you may not remember, but it wasn't like in a mean way. He was like, Pip, you get a drink. You know, you're going to get a drink. You're going to do this. And it was like, he was providing a whole thing for me. It wasn't that he was trying to force me to do anything negative. It's just like, he wanted to make sure I was taken care of. I didn't give Jeff lip in his own home. What do I look? That's crazy, you know. So I think the perception of me is very misleading because of who I am in my profession. I think so.
You can't get a feel for a person in a soundbite. So that's all I can say on that. Like, you can't get a feel for a person in a soundbite, and that's whether you're on social media or any other way. The only way to know a person is to really spend time with them, talk with them, and really understand where they're coming from. And I think that some of that is lost in translation a lot. But I want to get into, I'm going to come to Troy in a minute, but I want to get to Lisa's question about how do you approach it if a woman says she wants to pay for everything? And it goes back to this point of he doesn't know his place. Because some women, again, if you're controlling and you're alpha and all this other kind of stuff, you feel like, you know, sometimes paying is a badge of honor and a way of keeping that man in his place because you paid the bill, and constantly reminding him of who's in charge. But what do you guys think? But Troy, go ahead to your point and get in here.
In terms of my place, or me knowing my place, I would explain to anybody, based on my character, personality, and pedigree, my place is where I choose to sit minute by minute. It's that simple. And nobody else can define for me what my place is. I don't care how much money she makes. I was going to address Lisa's comments. So, you know, as far as a woman being with me and paying for everything, I wouldn't let that happen because I would feel like a sugar baby. I would feel like, why do you feel like you need to pay for everything? Now, I do agree. People that know me in real life know that I wouldn't date a woman that never offered to take me out to dinner or pay for shit. I don't, I'm a man through and through, but I don't believe in paying 100% of shit. Because if I'm with a woman that works and has, salary, education, I'm like, why the fuck am I paying for everything? So first and foremost, I have never, not one time, been with a woman where I paid for everything.
Yeah.
If you can't even take me to Chipotle, why the fuck am I with you?
I would be offended if my man would not let me pay every now and then. If it's your birthday and I'm taking you out, you better let me pay that check. I don't care I don't care. It's your birthday. I'm treating.
But the question,
you might.
What about if they want to pay for everything? What if they want to pay for everything? For everything?
I wouldn't want to be in that relationship.
I wouldn't want to be in a relationship where I couldn't contribute even monetarily. Like, to me, I feel like money isn't just everything, but I do feel like sometimes you need to let somebody else treat. You know what I mean? Like, if I can't treat you, then because to me, maybe that might be my love language. And now you're taking away my love language from me because now you're trying to tell me how to love you. And that's not, you can't make a person love you in your love language until you allow them to be free in theirs.
It would be a foreign scenario because first and foremost, if I'm working, like I'm working and I make, a salary, I would ask them, why do you feel the need to pay for everything? That would be my first question. And based on her answer, would let me know, okay, what direction I need to move in. To Lisa's other question, as far as a woman proposing to a man, I've actually been proposed to by a girlfriend once, at 19 years old. Weirdest experience of my life, but I told the young lady I was dating, I said, look, I got midterms coming up, so this ain't gonna work.
So yours saying no is because it wasn't the right time, but you didn't mind. Did you mind her proposing?
Did I mind? Yeah, at that time, I was like, no, this is not, I don't feel comfortable with it. Now, for another couple, for another man, another woman, if that man over there,
this comment,
if he feels comfortable accepting the proposal, I would say mazel tov. Tell me where the wedding is. I'll throw rice. Me personally, it would just make me feel different. I just personally, I wouldn't go for it myself, but because I wouldn't go for it, I'm not labeling it as wrong or anything. It just means it doesn't work for me. It may work for that man over there, and if it worked for that man over there, I'm gonna say mazel tov. I'm gonna say, yo, when's the wedding? But I know at that time, back in 1998, when I was proposed to, I just said, look, this ain't gonna work.
I was in elementary school.
Listen, Cash Money Records won't even doing it for the 99 yet. Wow.
There's two different things, though.
But I want to get to Horace first before we get back to this next point.
Well, I want to address the proposal thing too. Because
but Horace wants to. Horace.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got a question because what variables are we speaking of here? Like, she wants to pay for everything in a relationship. Like when we go out to dinner, because as a man, when I heard that, I'm thinking like I'm paying all the bills. When we go out to dinner, she's gonna pay for the dinner or the trips and stuff like that. But you're saying like she pays for everything all the time. Like some people might not. I know in a real relationship, every guy knows that's not sustainable. You know what I mean? It's a major come up, but it's not sustainable.
No, she means bills and everything 100%. That's what she was saying. Bills and everything 100%.
Well, listen, the price of meat then went up. So for some people, it works. I couldn't be.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Listen, I couldn't do it. But listen, the price of meat out here is a meat shortage, and that dude is doing what he needs to do. She's paying him. He's a salaried employee. All right. Second thing, as far as the proposal, I personally think I tell women, a lot of y'all get off the bench, go out there and go after this guy. You like a guy, we don't get hints, we don't get clues, we're clueless. At least let them know that you like them. Because most time the dude will give you some playback, right?
That's different. Shooting your shot and proposing marriage is two different things, too.
Well, listen, I'm going to tell you what's disturbing. If I would date somebody and she said, I want to marry you, then as a man, I'm going to come and I'm going to go do what I need to do. But when I see these videos of the man with his hand out like that,
with the woman on one knee is a problem for me. Like that just looks weird.
I don't know why that little I can hold his hand out moment triggers me so much.
Because it's showing that it's. Go ahead, Horace, and I
could never do
because I know I'm going to piss her off.
If they had a conversation, she says she want to marry him, cool. But that whole one knee stuff, yeah, I don't know, Trey. I can't get jiggy with that one. That's kind of
what I'm saying is
that communicates to me that she's gonna be controlling in the relationship, though.
I'm not putting my hand out.
Oh no, I would. No, that's what I'm saying. For me, would I do it? Hell the fuck no. Now, if I look over and one of my people I know, associates, if a guy wants to stick his hand out, his woman get down on one knee, I'm gonna say basically y'all got an understanding that I don't understand, but I don't need to understand it.
Right.
I don't have to understand what they got going on in their relationship. Maybe that's something that is completely cool with them. If it's cool with them, my opinion is null and void.
Right.
At that point, just tell me where y'all gonna get married, where you registered, and I'll be there with the cheapest gift on the register. So at that point, what they got going on is on them. I just know for me, it wouldn't work for me.
I agree.
You know, if I'm with a celebrity like Beyonce who's worth 8 figures, and she comes to me and say, Trey, I want to pay for everything. I take that back. I may make that work.
Okay.
Jeff.
At the wedding, I'm buying them matching gas track gift cards.
That's a good question. I'm gonna address this. And Keith had a question, but we can go.
But Jeff, go. I want to hear how you think about the. Because honestly, to be real, I agree with Troy. It's not something for me. If it works for you, God bless you. But what I'm not doing is getting down on one knee, proposing marriage to no man. Like I'm
gonna get to that.
But you can still shoot. You can still say you want to marry Cletus.
But that's okay. Well, that's not
Cletus.
that's
Yeah,
giving, that's letting
whatever
them,
name
that's
is.
letting
I
them
think
know.
that's to me, that's no
Yeah.
different than having a conversation of where is this relationship going. At some
Yeah,
point,
that's
I expected to
that's
get to here.
yeah, that's not proposing.
But I ain't getting down on one knee
Yeah,
with
I
his
should
hand
propose.
out, putting a ring on, talking
Yeah,
about will
that's
you
what.
marry me? Like they,
Yeah,
like what's going on in these videos that we seeing.
yeah. If
Ain't nobody say yeah yet.
well, if they told me, well, if they told me that they want to marry, that's one thing. But one, as far as the proposal question, you proposed to me, I'm breaking up with you. One, because you are disrespecting me. Because if you know me and you know how I feel, you know that that's very disrespectful to me. It is emasculating, it's rude, and it's unnecessary, and it's embarrassing, especially do it in front of people. That's just my stance, and that's how I feel. And I do not think.
Right.
Yeah,
That comment, sorry.
Yeah, that's kind of extreme.
I don't care.
Like
It has happened actually. But because she told me I was taking too long. So if I'm taking too long, that means there's still stuff you're not doing that's making me not want to propose yet, or I'm just not ready to. You can't rush a man. That was the first thing. And I know I just don't think women should propose to men.
I agree with you, Jeff, because I think that at that point, you got to date at your level. That means she wasn't dating at her level. She was far ahead in the relationship game and what she wanted.
Yeah, and then you
got
made
a deadline than where you were.
And you made me feel rushed at that. You put the other things too. You made me feel like, you're putting pressure on me. Now, the question about paying for everything, y'all know where I stand on that. Yeah. I'm the provider, period. If you want to pay for me on my birthday, or if I've got a promotion or celebrating something, that's cool.
Right.
But no, that's that. You have your own stuff you need to do at home or in our relationship. And as long as you're doing that, that is your providing.
Right. Go ahead, Tootie. Go ahead.
How old is the red specimen next to you? What is his age? What is your age, Jeff?
Red.
What is your age, Jeff?
I am under 35 and I'm over 27.
Well, let's see your views in the next 10 years.
No, it ain't changing. I've been like this since I was 16. I've never had a problem dating or anything.
But me at 30 was hell.
Because the thing thrown in my face was, oh, you're going to be unhappy your whole life or whatever. And I said, I've not had no problem ever.
We changed, brother. Listen, me at 30, I was a hell of a person. Me at 40, I'm almost 40, is a different person.
We'll see. And hopefully we'll still be in contact, but I will remember this moment and I will go back to you because I won't forget moments.
We know.
I want to get to this question that Keith has. He says, can a woman be submissive and still have her own life, job, finances, and make sure that she can stand on her own 2 feet without him? And Piff is the epitome of that. Because again, she is very much like she's already said before that we can be submissive, but she got her own life, she got her own job, she got her own finances, she lands on her own 2 feet. Troy got somebody that he's dating that does the same thing. I don't think submissive is subjective to you. Submissive is to us. We define submissive as a mutual respect for somebody else, and you treat them accordingly. And it's not like you're treating them like they're your pet on a leash that you carry around and you checking in where they are all the time, and they got to tell you this, and you got tracking devices on the phone. If you need that, then you don't need to be with that person, because that's red flags that you might end up in a grave somewhere, because the one slight thing could tick you off and cause you to do something you ain't got no business doing. So I think that when it comes to this, you got women on this show who are the epitome of this right here. Women who can be submissive, who are submissive, as long as, again, if that man is creating a space where we feel safe in our complete, in totality of everything, we can still have our own independence and still be with that person, because when you're in a relationship, you're still a whole person. They still expect you to be you. Bring that to the table and be who you are, because I think some people are attracted to independence. I think Troy has said it several times. Give me an independent. We love you too, Chastity. Troy said many times before, he loves a submissive person. He loves a woman who's independent. But I think that there's a line, like you can be independent and still value a man or a woman and have that relationship and have a respect for each other and again, defining the dynamics of the relationship, which goes to Jeff's point. If you define the dynamics of what you're looking for in your relationship, you can submit to what each of you need and what you expect. Then you're submitting to what you've agreed upon. This isn't about, being dominant. This whole, he doesn't know his place. That's again, that's a control issue. Why do you want to be with somebody who's so controlling and insecure that they feel like they got to dominate every part of your life? Get a dog.
Oh, absolutely.
Dogs like mine, they're not going to let you tell them and do whatever. So it doesn't even apply to dogs all the time. Trust me.
I'm gonna need you. I thought you got rid of Rose. I'm with. Bye. I need you to commit to that. Commit to setting yourself free. Okay.
What was Trey about to say?
I was going to echo. I was going to supplement what Dr. H was saying. Yes, I've traditionally only, and I do mean, I can't stress that, and only dated independent women, because at the end of the day, a dependent woman is a turnoff. I'm so turned off by a woman that needs me to live, especially, and don't let her have a college degree and able body and all that stuff. I'm like, why are you dependent on me? Because whenever I think about that, I think about Peggy Bundy, and I'm like, no, I'm not going for that. And at the end of the day, I'm not trying to completely demonize women like that, because there are men out there who prefer dependent women. I say, look, you need to go be with that man. Right. This man here, I really, a dependent woman, financially, emotionally, all that, dependent woman not only makes my skin crawl, pisses me off. So that's why, independent women, not only am I attracted to them, I just admire them. I admire them because I love a woman who, being an independent woman doesn't mean you're a bitch. It doesn't mean that you're controlling. It doesn't mean that you have an attitude problem. It doesn't mean that you're single, because there's a lot of independent women out here who are booed up with fat ass diamond rings, married to good, to great men. So if anybody's single or chronically single, regardless if they're dependent, independent woman, that's just them. That's just their character.
And but a weak man, yes. Who probably couldn't do no better. I stand by that, because these women, like in high school, who I knew were going to be successful and very gorgeous, the ones you just described, they're with the nerd in the audiovisual club, or the kid playing around the house for the football team.
Piff.
Of course, I'm sure they're with a submissive man. I do believe there are those. They're punks, but it's fine. If they're happy, I'm happy. Go ahead.
Piff.
Yep. Give some logic here.
Piff.
Me, Horace?
Yeah, I know. I said the same thing, but the spirit came and that's what came out of my mouth. I was like, "You sure, Lord?"
I can't stand you.
Gotta be obedient.
Piff.
Say something, Piff. Just don't be cute.
We done said a lot.
I just, honestly, there's been a lot of questions. So I think whatever works for you, right? If you want to be with somebody who proposes, I think there could be definitely a different way of doing it. You know what I'm saying? And it be appealing to a man. I do have a comment, and I think that this is a possibility for Jeff, because, and I want to just throw this out there, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
So, Troy was saying, you can only hold your breath for so long, but I know some people, boy, that they could keep their representative intact for years.
Yeah. I know.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
I know. That can keep their their representative don't shake. Like they got it down pat. And so here's my comment for Jeff. So thinking about the representative staying intact, I think that there is the possibility that, you could possibly come across somebody who is submissive, but that makes more money than you and wants to be with you so much. Wait, hold on. Listen, just listen. Just listen. So wants to be with you so much that they lie and they say they don't make as much money just to be with you. I think the thing is that sometimes we as people, we look at certain things as non-negotiable. Like I can't allow.
I call them deal breakers.
No, well, yeah, deal breaker, non-negotiable.
Okay.
I think that some things that we say that we won't allow as we grow older and we get, compromise does happen later on in life. I think that there is somebody that is coming your way, honey. They're gonna break you down like Urkel, listen, because my thing is, I see, unfortunately, Jeff, you are like the ungettable get. Okay, so just follow along. If you're the
I like that term. I'm
ungettable
writing
get,
that down.
when you come across somebody that is so wanting to be with you, they are going to hide whatever your non-negotiables are.
Oh,
And
I
then
know.
you're like, wait a minute, but I thought this. And trust me, there's some people that can hide how much they make. They can
Put in another account.
suppress it. No, they can suppress it with their employer where it doesn't report to certain systems. There's certain ways.
It definitely happens. It definitely happens.
There's certain ways, and there's certain ways to suppress certain things, so that no one can. You won't know. Right. I mean, I know that you have ways, but I'm just saying. I think that there is somebody that wants to get past your rabid pit bulls that you've got going on, and they're gonna want to get with you. Just like Horace has sat here and said a whole bunch of nonsense, and look at him. He's been booed up and unbooed up and been booed up.
I agree with you. I've like, you already know my situation in my past. I've dealt with they did everything I wanted stuff, and once they got their ring on their finger, she became very ignorant.
Right.
And a deal breaker for me is too much mouth. If you're to talk back too much, or you're too catty, you're gone. Or if you challenge me too much, you're gone. And that changed.
Does that include your friends though? Because I know a whole bunch of men that are worse than women.
No, I don't care about that.
Okay.
I don't allow people to disrespect me, period. But if you don't agree with something I say, I'm going to respect you. But if I am dating you, no. You can disagree with me, but there's a certain way to do it if I'm dating you.
I think that if a woman, for what Pip is describing, to me, if a woman is willing to go to the extremes to hide all of this, to submit to what you want, to create this person that you want, and later on you find out that all of this is a facade, would that not be more impressive that she was willing to go to great lengths to submit to the person that you want her to be, even though it was, even though she had to create this facade? To me, I think it is a bit much, but people will do what they want for who they want to be with. You know what I mean? And so I think that when it comes to people knowing their place, we're talking about the reverse here, where someone is willing to lay aside everything that could possibly be something that they can lord over someone else, and be willing to put that underneath just so that they can be with this person for whatever reason why they want to be with them.
Because it all comes down to your needs, like I said earlier. And so if you're meeting their 90% or their 80% of needs, Jeff, I just see, and I mean, it's Urkel is probably not like the best analogy, but you know what? He like literally broke Laura down over like a 10-year period, right? He, did I do that? And all, falling around, broke every glass in the house, ran, like, drove the whole family crazy. Jeff, I'm trying to tell you, there is somebody out there that is like, I want Jeff, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get with him. So be prepared. Be prepared. You got.
Why my friends in the room just said, yeah, she's not lying. Terrible. Y'all terrible.
Y'all gonna have something to talk about later on.
I mean, I just think that we all have somebody that's similar to that.
You're very desirable to yourself. Trust me.
Me? Oh, listen. You know what? I was thinking about this today, and I was thinking, somebody came up to me and said, "You're beautiful," and I was like, "Okay." And then I realized that those words mean nothing to me coming from someone who doesn't know me.
Okay.
I feel like
because they're commenting on the superficial. Because again, yeah, I get it. When you're not putting a lot of stock in the outside, right?
So if they don't know me at all, and I don't care. It literally just, it means, I don't know why. It just doesn't. It doesn't give me warm fuzzies like other women would be like, oh my God, they think it doesn't. I don't care.
Like what I said.
I mean, and it's sad, but it probably should give me warm fuzzies, but it just doesn't. But
right.
you know,
When I see
I don't know. Horace, get your life. Now, listen, you know, every man has called me beautiful on the show, and I've appreciated it. So, you know, all my friends, they're all my friends. So I'm not trying to put I'm not trying to hit on nobody, man. So don't come for me. It ain't that type of party. And I argue with Horace, I get along, so it ain't.
Right.
That's how it begins.
Right. So this has been a great conversation on He Doesn't Know His Place. And again, the context of this
we might need a part 2 for this.
Yeah, because I think that we just scratched the surface, baby, about all of this. Because again, it's about how you treat people. A person is a person, not a pet. And so we, you know, understanding submission and the context of what it is, it's not lording who you are and what you have to offer over people. I don't think there's anything wrong with being physically attractive on top of being mentally stimulating.
Right.
It's about, but you got to find that balance so that you are not being manipulative, like Alan said, being manipulative and deceitful and mistreating people because you make more money. You get to dictate how this person functions in their life. That's you don't have, Jeff said it earlier, you don't have a right to treat anybody like scum, you know. And that's not, we are human beings. We're not here to treat people like dogs or pets or whatever your pet of choice is. It's all about finding a mutual respect for one another as human beings. And to me, when you lord who you got, what you got over another person as if you own them or something like that, that says more about you.
Or they're sitting on Twitter making videos saying they have a low jack on their car, you know, stuff like that.
Right. Like if you got to put tracking devices on people's phones or cars and different stuff, there's a problem because you can't own another person. That was slavery. That didn't feel good. And so we're not here to treat people like they're chattel, like they're not a human being. And to me, when a woman, if you're a quote alpha woman and you tell a man he don't know his place because you're doing this for him and you're doing that, and if it wasn't for you, he wouldn't be nothing, then why are you with him? Because to me, it seems to me like you need that man to be under your foot so you feel like you somebody. So in turn, you need to go lay on somebody's sofa and get some therapy for why you're controlling and mistreating and abusing this person like they're not a person. That's an issue. You know, that's a huge issue. So, you know, I appreciate y'all for being active in the comments. Shout out to Lisa for a lot of the questions we got. Thank you all for being so engaged with us tonight. Who else? We had some great comments and stuff. Alan, shout out to you. Jalen, welcome back. Glad to see you again. Keith Calloway, so many of you guys, Nick. So many of you guys were very,
Candy,
very
love you, girl.
Back with us tonight, y'all. So we thank y'all for tuning in tonight. But seriously, this was a great conversation about what it is to treat people like human beings and not like you own somebody, because you don't own a person. Like you cannot own people. That's just not what that is. And so I think Jeff is going to be back active on social media when he feels safe to get back and not be bothered by people. But the next show is going to be an after dark show. Trey has an amazing topic to get us juicy and wet. We haven't had a nice after dark conversation in a long time. I said what I said and I meant what I said. So it
help me, I'm about to pass out.
Oh, Dr. H.
Are you turning into Horace? Do you need to throw yourself the doggone throw the handkerchief at your own camera, Dr. H?
Let's film the next episode live from Trapeze. Spice it up.
Horace, go.
You know, I've been there a few times, so I'm definitely in agreement with that.
But we're gonna have a great show next time. It's gonna be After Dark, October 1st, Friday at 10 p.m. Y'all know how we do. It's slippery when wet, so enjoy. Get ready for a all I can tell you, it's gonna be a good conversation. It's a juicy topic.
Trey, you need to give me that topic because honey.
You need to find a revival.
Yes.
Comments. What's going on in the spirit realm?
I'm just, I don't want to give it away prematurely. I'll just say,
I'm gonna text her. She a mess.
Sit back, lay down, relax your muscles, and just enjoy.
Lisa just told y'all all what y'all need to do right here.
I just saw that. That's why I was like, wait. All right.
The After Dark is strictly for the grown and sexy, so please make sure that you have your chins in bed.
For the grown, sexy, and freaky.
Lisa London, you got
the children. Sometimes, in some cases, the children know more than the adults.
They sure do.
But we're not trying to encourage that. We're not trying to encourage that, especially with this conversation that we about to have. But some of y'all who are dealing with dry seasons, and you know who you are, you're dealing with dry seasons.
Lisa London.
You need to be in this conversation.
Somebody's name.
Dry season.
In the comments. I said I like the comment. Piff.
He said Alan said he gonna have brown liquor and oils, and
Please get your life together, Alan. I'm a
Piff.
Brown liquor and oils.
I'm done, bro.
I'm done. I'm done.
I'm sharing this show on Twitter right now.
I swear, y'all.
I'm about to pass out. Like y'all.
We appreciate y'all. We gonna catch y'all next time around. And we'll see y'all the next time around. Have a good night.
That's what she said.
Be quiet.
Bye.